Welcome back. So let's figure out how we can fix this the right way on our REST API in the cloud on Azure. So I found this article right here, enabling cross-origin requests on Microsoft's own page. I'll add the link to the description, I guess, or you can just see it right here. Let me just zoom, go in there and find this one, right? I'll try and add it to the description as well, so you don't have to kind of write it manually. So here we have enabling cross-origin request CORS, and it explains, well, it prevents a web page from making AJAX requests to another domain. And that's again, the problem is that if I can start from my page making requests to your domain and somebody pulls in some malicious software, maybe they can actually make requests to their own domain, sending my users information to their own domain. They can use that information now and actually send it to something else. So that's kind of the problem here, right? That's kind of what we're trying to avoid. And you can read a lot about how you can, the cross-origin resource sharing and CORS, what it's all about here. And as I scroll down, there's actually some solutions that we need to use to fix this problem. And that's what I'm going to do. Now, I'm going to use this solution right here, where we start out by just using CORS to actually make a small builder. I'm going to do it a bit differently, but almost the same thing. So go and read this solution step by step here if you want to. I'm going to do it a bit faster than what they're doing right here. So let's try and jump into our code, and now I'm in the C# code. You have to remember that. Now the first thing I want to do is go into a startup CS file right here. So I'm inside the root file in the REST API, right? I'm inside the startup file in the REST API, if you guys forgot that. It is a long time since we made this code maybe, so you'll probably just go there and find it yourself. Now what we're going to do is inside the configure service, we're going to add a few lines, and I'm going to copy paste them. I'm sorry, I'm too lazy here, so let me go and copy paste these in here. There we go, now I pasted them in. Now these lines are pretty much the same that you saw in the tutorial earlier. You're saying to our service collection that we want to add CORS now. We want to add a policy saying if you are with the region localhost, you're allowed to go and get the resources. You're allowed to go and grab the data. Now, you shouldn't have localhost in here normally. We're just doing it to work with this right now, but normally in the live REST API, we would have for the real Angular server, and that would be another domain, right? That would be the angularapp.com or something like that. And that would be what you put in here. But right now, we'll just keep it with the origin of localhost 4200. And that's, of course, the origin on my machine. You might put in a different port. If you're on the Windows, it might be 5000 or something like that. So notice the port needs to be the port you're using inside your Angular app. And you can find it by jumping into your Angular app right here and just grabbing the IP, the URL right here. Now one thing you need to notice, and that's actually that'll give you a problem if you just paste this guy in here, it might end up with an end trail like that, an end front slash remove that, or else it won't work. Just to let you know, it'll fail and it won't figure out that you want to access it with this server right here. So now we have kind of allowed that people start grabbing resources if they're on localhost 4200. Sweet. Now we are going to allow any method in here, meaning the get, put, post, delete request. We're going to allow anything in here. And we're going to allow all headers that will be sent for us, meaning there's a lot of different headers like security headers, a lot of authority, that's one header, and there's a lot of different headers, JSON headers, content type, so many headers in there that we can put, and we're going to allow them all. So we're kind of just opening everything in our setup right here. So that's kind of the step that we need to do in the configuration in the startup file. The second step that we need to do is we need to explain to our controllers, and I'm just going to do it for the customer controller right now. I need to explain to the controller that it's okay now to open up so that when people call the get request here, they can get it. It's okay, you can do it, man. You're from localhost 4200, so you are allowed. Let me try and show you how we do this. So we're putting in actually enable CORS right here, and then I'm putting in my policy. Now this name needs to match the name you have here, right? So I'm putting in a policy called my policy here, and you also need to match that in here. And now for the customer's controller, we've now enabled CORS. Now you need to do it for all your controllers, and there's also a global setting, but I'm not going to use the global setting right now. I'm just going to enable for customers to see if it actually works.